solid.
Arm and Hammer Day.
Back in the Arm and Hammer.
It was too.
Straight out Arm and Hammer.
Back in with another episode. We're on the first episode.
You sit back. You sit back down.
First episode with a live studio audience.
Live.
Second
studio
episode
audience.
with a returning guest. That was probably the funniest thing I've said all night. We got Will back on.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi, I'm Will.
Just absolutely fantastic. I'm feeling great here.
Yeah, we had a good night. We went and we did a movie.
Yo.
New Barbie film.
We watched the new Barbie film.
Fantastic. Margot Robbie.
We told everybody we were going to watch Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I actually saw Barbie.
Not true.
Well, what did you think of the Barbie movie?
I actually, I would say I'm pro and con for different reasons.
Yeah.
So if you look at it as political satire, it was...
Con.
Actually, it was pro. It was hysterical.
It was good political satire?
Yeah, if you look at it, or maybe not even political, if you just look at it as like, if you take all the worst things about men and women, it's super funny.
Yeah.
And they really made a good light of that. The director also did Lady Bird and Little Women, and I thought both of those were really well done.
Aren't those... those are older.
Yeah. But there was also like a lot of negative shade towards men as well.
Yeah, that's
and
what I heard.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, though.
But I think some of it was also satirical, and I think people took that out of context. And like I was speaking about at dinner tonight, was one thing that brought it home for me and made it a positive was just that they painted women in a light that it's okay to be mothers. And I think that's a narrative that's not pushed nowadays.
They're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, and I think like...
That's right.
I think that's something that I don't think anyone, men or women, are going to look back when they're 60 or 80 years old and be like, man, I really wish I worked more. Instead of like, I really wish I fostered my kids more.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a dangerous narrative to push.
To try and get rid of, you mean?
Yeah,
Or what do you mean push?
To get rid of. To
Okay.
get rid of that narrative.
To
Which
push
is
it out.
why it was a very pro thing, because that's not something you hear about a lot, is like, oh, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, that's fantastic. Like you are a unique creature that's not an easy job.
It's out of the
It's funny
ordinary
how it's like
nowadays.
it's bad to suggest that it's even a good idea.
Yeah.
Like if you told a woman today that it's a good idea for her to be like
that's crazy.
a
I
mom,
can't
she'd be like,
imagine-
"That is so misogynistic.
I can't imagine
believe you
someone
said
getting
that."
upset about that at dinner, perhaps. Just satire.
Yeah, I can't believe you said that. First of all, that's racist, or I mean, sexist, and then second of all, who are you to say I should be a mom? It's funny though, it's true. There's a lot of stuff that's getting pushed out.
I'm sorry, I can't do this with this guy
It's
sitting
very-
here. I can't
it's
do this
very
with
sad.
this guy sitting over here. He just keeps freaking railing me.
Oh yeah, we got a live studio audience.
I can't believe.
You gotta get him on.
This
You gotta
is
pick up
this is
the
ridiculous.
microphone. Pick up the microphone.
This is retarded.
You gotta
What are you
pick up-
doing over there?
I'm trying to-
He
I put
keeps,
him-
every time we say something, he's like,
I left him a microphone over there. Pick
shooting
it
the
up.
hang
Gotta
ten.
pick it up.
Get the frick. Hey, what are you doing?
He's got no accountability, and he's got all the power. He's got to pick
Are
up
you
the
gonna
microphone.
pick up the microphone? Oh my god.
Let's see what he's got to say.
I can't even do
All right,
it.
it's on.
I
It's
can't
on.
even do anything.
It's on. You got to say.
Go ahead.
what,
We got him on.
what do you mean? Go ahead.
Oh, he's got to have some accountability. We got to get him on the air. That's the mic. That's the microphone that's gonna start doing some
I
crazy
like how you're
stuff
holding
too.
the microphone right there.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, but Oppenheimer was the actual movie we watched.
Wow. That was crazy.
Tasted a little funny too.
And this is a spoiler alert, I guess, for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But it's also, if it's a spoiler for you, that's because you don't actually know history, which I'm one of those people. So it's not like a dig. It's just like the actual plot is stuff that actually happened.
Some stuff was new to me.
Yeah, but the actual plot is like, if it's a spoiler, that just means you don't know what happened.
Yeah,
because it
it's true.
follows
It's true.
history. So I feel like this is an easy one to talk about without spoiling it because the plot is.
Because it already happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But basically, I didn't like it.
You didn't like the movie?
I didn't like the movie Oppenheimer.
Really?
No. I thought that it was. I'm kind of got a conspiracy theory thing going on it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, I think you guys liked it from the ride home. I want to hear why you liked it first before I get into why I didn't.
Why I liked it? Because the visuals were incredible. The acting was incredible. The story was incredible. the entire movie was incredible. I don't know what you're talking about. Or were you even watching the movie?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? You don't like the movie?
Well, okay, let's expand on that.
What a joke.
But you're a big Christopher Nolan
I'm
fan.
not just a big Christopher Nolan fan. I'm a big fan of the movies that he makes. Not just him. I don't like him.
All right.
I like the movies that he comes
Will,
out with.
You thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Why? It's not putting you on the spot. I'm just wondering.
No. I think it was enjoyable too. Also, purely because I really enjoy history. So to see a visual aspect of like a book.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're good.
I think I enjoyed that more.
Like it's an interactive history book.
Yeah,
Not interactive,
and I think
but
it's something that I also like
visualize.
am not super well versed in as well. Besides, we did a whole out west trip when I was a kid, and we went to the museum that discussed the whole, building of everything, like the whole town.
Yeah.
But I think to see it in a movie form, it brought it to life a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think overall it was just an enjoyable movie that seemed like it had a lot of historical insight. I think I need to watch it again to really like mentally unpack, because there was so many. There was different like timelines, and then the dialogue was hard to hear. And then,
Definitely
Yeah,
the
so-
dialogue was the acoustics in there were not that great.
yeah. So I think all of that, I need to watch it again to really like unpack it. And then the voodoos didn't help.
Yeah, we all did have Voodoo Rangers,
Yeah.
which we snuck into the theater, which is always so funny to
Which
sneak
is always
stuff
too
in.
easy, by the way.
Yeah, because you think it's going to be like a big deal, and then the guy who's scanning the tickets wants to die. He hates his job, and he's not even looking at you or what you're holding.
Yeah.
You could like be holding a bunch of beers. They were like spilling all over the ground, and he wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
And we had it like wrapped in our sweaters, like we're all nervous.
And cold.
I know. My candy was like poking out of the side too, and it didn't even.
I thought I was
sweat.
gonna drop a beer on the way, and I had like 4 of them. But that's okay.
Besides the point.
I really wanna hear-
I want to know what this BS
I
that's
have
about
a-
to come out of your face hole.
I have a
about to sound
conspiracy
like.
theory. You know how the whole idea about the whole concept is kind of conspiratorial, that the hippie movement was created by the federal government to like kibosh all anti-war sentiment.
Yeah.
So like they created, because there's like this whole thing where like the hippie movement came in out of like rock and roll in the 60s, and like all these bands and stuff came out of this like one like little area, and they're all related. Like Jim Morrison's dad was like a federal agent, and like all these people were all starting this movement to make the left, like, or whoever was against the war at that time, like just nobody paid attention to them because they were hippies, and it worked. And then they're doing it again, but it's through this movie. It's through Christopher Nolan. They got to him. Look. This is. I'll admit.
So
this is all,
you don't like the movie based on a federal conspiracy about hippies?
Yeah, I think they're trying to make it more hippies. No, hear me out. They made the movie. I counted. I got very distracted for like 10 minutes of the movie, because every time they cut a scene, so like every time the camera cut, started counting. 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, and I never got higher than 10 seconds. It's formatted exactly like the most popular media amongst the youngest generation right now, Reels. Exactly like it. It's 10 seconds, 3 seconds,
Keep you
10
engaged
seconds,
and everything.
10 seconds, 6 seconds, 10 seconds, and it would cut every time. So you couldn't stop watching. You never actually developed a real like emotional connection to any of the characters, because you never saw them on the screen for longer than 10 seconds at a time. you get the story because you kind of know the story already, and it's coming through, and it's designed to scare the younger generation about nuclear weapons, which they don't have the historical context of, because they know about it, but they weren't there for like the scare. So it's like reigniting the scare amongst this issue with the war in Ukraine, where we have like a real threat of nuclear war. I think it's all planned.
It is convenient that they came out with this movie like right along the time that we're pretty close to war with China or Russia.
Yeah, it's planned to like get everybody to like stop doing the nuclear war stuff.
Yeah.
It's like an anti-war movie disguised as a Christopher Nolan like fun history movie.
Because it wasn't that,
and it's aimed at the young people.
Nolan-esque.
No, it wasn't like Interstellar,
but it wasn't far off from Dunkirk,
which I didn't see. I didn't see, so I can't argue on that.
I'm not buying it.
You don't?
I'm not buying your BS.
But if you watch the movie,
I need to watch it again.
I couldn't. There was no scene longer than 10 seconds. You couldn't even get a read on any characters.
Okay, you mean cut, not scene.
Okay, yeah, there were scenes that were like 20 seconds, but it was cutting around and it would cut back and forth. It was designed the same way, like for people with incredibly short attention spans.
Now, do you
and
think
it worked.
I don't know if it was
because I have an incredibly short attention span and I couldn't stop watching it because it kept changing.
Now, do you think that's just because he realizes that that's our generation and our generation is now shifting to shorter attention spans, so that might be the new media format?
It could be.
I just think it was a lot of information that he had to pack into a small amount of time.
I also
agree. You could even watch when it was two people talking, right? And it's maybe 30 seconds or 40 seconds of two people talking. There's this rule in filmmaking where when you cut from person to person, you stay on the same side of them, so it's not jarring to the audience. And they went like fully on the opposite side. I was watching. They went from one side of one guy all the way to where they were looking completely back. So the reason they do that, they stay on the same side, is so you can really easily tell it's the same people, it's the same conversation, same situation, because it's awkward to shift completely to where you're looking backwards on the scene, and like all those scenes were like that. So even that cut where it's in the same scene, it's like,
I think they were doing that because the dramatization between the past and the present, because they would really only do that when they would cut from the story that they were telling to the present or the future, the black and white.
Yeah.
They would really only do that when they cut between that, because in the normal sense, they would do the normal cinematography where they would just cut, like you're saying, when it's less jarring, face to face.
Yeah.
And I also do think it is a jarring story as well.
It is.
I think having that shock factor does kind of help the aspect of keeping it almost interesting. And
that's one thing I gotta say about Christopher Nolan is, yes, I think in this one he maybe did it a little bit more than normal, but even in like Interstellar, there's never a moment that's boring.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he did the same cut thing because I wasn't paying the same attention, but in this one I just, for some reason I couldn't, I was seeing cut, and it started to like almost distract me because I couldn't even really get a reading.
There was a lot of chop in the movie.
It was very choppy.
But I think the story was kind of boring, and I think he kind of had to to make it in that way just to keep it more entertaining. Because I think otherwise it'd be a 6-hour movie with all the information.
Yeah.
And it would be smooth, but you wouldn't pay attention because it'd just be like a 70 pacing movie.
It never showed. You know how people who are in a professional setting like that, like they're like world-renowned physicist, like you get to see them in their professional sense where they're really talking about something that's pertaining to their business, and they've thought about this conversation they're having for hours before they've had it, and it's all deliberate, and it's their professionalism. But then in some shows or movies, it shows you them like with their guard down, and it builds the character. There's like none of that. Like every scene you saw was these people in their most peak professional like thing.
No, because they have several times where he breaks down. Because you see
Tyler just literally wasn't watching the movie.
I watched
He
some
was
of
just
it.
counting the cuts.
I spent a long time counting the cuts.
No, because you see him deal with like the horrors of his I think his true lover kill herself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also you see him deal with like the fact that he's the reason for the 120,000+
Yeah.
people that die, which is a huge amount of weight to be on someone to know that he was the sole reason for that. Or maybe not sole.
No,
but
yeah.
But he was the and
He was a
big part
big
of it.
step. Yeah.
And I don't know if it would have been done without him, just because the research, like he was the holder of the research for that time. But I also do think money talks, and they spent $2 billion in the 40s or the 30s,
Yeah.
which is got to be close to the trillions now. Like I don't think money was an object then. Like even with the war effort and coming out of the Great Depression. Even so,
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm not completely set on my concept that it was a horrible movie.
I can't believe this is what you had to say.
Yeah, I was
You were,
disappointed.
I thought you were gonna say something crazy about it, and you just say I don't like it.
No, I said I think it's made on purpose today for a reason. It's an anti-war piece.
See, in the one,
But
thing
it's not. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, you had a real thing to say.
Okay, and I also I don't want to just be like bashing on your opinion.
No, I like it.
the
I
whole
like
time.
this. The dissent is important.
They also did not paint government in a good light, because if I was in a position that Oppenheimer was now, especially after watching that movie, and they offered me this deal, I'd be like, no, bro, like there's no way I'm helping you guys with anything, because I know when this is finished in 10 years, I'm going on trial.
Yeah.
There's just because we're such a sue happy culture, I'm keeping my nose out of the majority of everything unless it's like purely just business,
Yeah.
And if I am, we're having a ton of legal documents signed before I go into this process. That's full immunity, because like he lost everything.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like the whole having an affair and then being like grilled with his wife there in the room too, and like their marriage being lost, even if they healed their marriage from this affair. Like this guy lost his wife. I assume it sounded like he lost his house too. They didn't really paint the picture clear, but it sounded like he lost his job, his house, his wife, kind of a good old country song.
Yeah. I think he did.
It's interesting how it starts where it feels like he's got this desire for information. That was my favorite part was when you saw the switch, and it was when he changed his outfit.
I didn't even pick up on that.
He was like
In the
dressed.
military?
He was dressed like a scholar, and then someone even mentioned it. They were like, "What are you wearing?" And
Yeah.
He was like wearing a military getup because he had this like quest for information and knowledge, and then you could see where it shifted to be political, and you could tell he was constantly like he was driven more by politics and not even politics, but just global affairs than he was by
the race,
by the information.
And
then
even his students said that they were like, "You're a politician, not a physicist."
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It was tricky though, because it was the race. It was either they have it or we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is tough too, because it's your friends and family, and I guess at his age, your friends' sons are dying over this,
Yeah.
And I assume you'd want to do anything to help, but I don't know if that would include killing
The Nazis or the United States? Yeah. You gonna weigh in?
In another 60 years, we're gonna have another movie like this, called like
Yeah, we will.
Gates or something,
It will be
Strassenheisen.
Gates.
and it's gonna be called Gates.
But you know about the history of the.
Well, I know about the Manhattan Project, but I don't know much about.
Yeah. Well, he was the guy.
He was the guy, I guess.
He was the guy that he was in charge of the project. $2 billion and 4,000 people down in New Mexico.
Los Santos.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a movie in 60 years called Gates, and it's going to be about the AI thing. It's going to be like the
Mixed
same
with
thing.
malaria.
Yeah, it's like when they were inventing AI and they didn't know what they were starting. It's like before the next
The
big
movie
war.
is made by AI.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and
It's
all the
another
actors are
propaganda film.
AI. Yeah. We're pretty much at the point where we don't need any new actors because we have enough and AI can replicate them all.
I'm still actually my favorite part about the movie was Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, me
Hands
too.
down. He
Very
was so
good.
good.
He was very good.
Yeah.
Made you really not want to like him.
The only time I've seen him act other than Iron Man was Tropic Thunder, and that's a totally different role. So it was super.
I was
super
thinking
solid.
You didn't
about
like
it.
the blackface, Will?
Yeah.
There was a lot of actors in this movie who I could tell really were waiting for a serious role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Robert Downey Jr., I feel like he only wants to do serious stuff because he's like kind of a serious guy. And
What
then
about Dr. Doolittle?
the guy from Drake and Josh,
Yeah.
Josh Peck.
I feel like he totally thinks he's not being taken seriously because he's Drake and Josh, and
We didn't
which
take
is
him
true.
seriously
Which
either.
is true. Yeah, everybody laughed when he popped up on the screen. The whole theater chuckled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that other guy, something Malik, what's his name?
Was
Oh.
it? Frank. What was that guy's name?
He's in. Oh, Bubs told me what he's in too.
He was in that game. I forgot what it.
Let me just look it up.
Yeah. That was a stacked cast, though. They had
It was.
Emily Blunt and everything in there.
Oh, Florence Pugh.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize that was her till you guys mentioned it.
It doesn't even look like her in that picture.
No, it didn't.
Midsummer chick.
Emily Blunt. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr.
And she didn't look like it in the film either.
No,
She
no.
looked nothing
yeah.
like her. And now that you mention it, I see it in the
Yep.
jawline. But
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek.
what else does he play?
He's in Bohemian Rhapsody. He's Queen. He's
Oh.
the guy. He's what's his face? What's his name?
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. He's in Mr. Robot, little thing.
I know him
blah,
from
blah.
that game.
He's in Night at the
That
Museum.
horror game
Yeah.
that came out.
Last of Us.
No, it's not Last of Us.
The First of Us.
Doom.
Doom. Oh, it was that. It was that butterfly effect game. I forgot what it was called. It was really good.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Yeah, that was a fun game.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, this
Josh
girl,
Peck.
Florence. I can't believe her name. Oh, she's bald in this picture.
Ew.
That's weird. This is the girl, right? Who she's in Midsommar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
She's in Little Woman too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Yeah.
She's in a
Oh,
bunch
and she was
of
the
movies.
sister of what's her name? Black Widow. Wasn't she?
She's in Black Widow. So
Wasn't she the sister in that?
Belova, Yelena Belova, Mr. Lova.
Mr. Lova.
Who was I saying that? Where were we today?
Bombastic. You just started saying it.
Mr. Lova. Where were we? Was that you today?
Yeah.
Where were we?
We were just around. Oh, we were at a job site.
That's true. Yeah, we got to say that. So, have you ever done a cabinets job with Brad?
Not yet.
Do you know who he is?
I know of him.
Yeah, you do.
He's this guy who does cabinet installs that we know. And he regularly has a slew of he's got this pool of 30, 20-year-olds that he knows.
Incredible.
That he calls on instead of going through temp work. He calls all of us and pays us at least double what temp work would be paid.
Nice.
And we work at least 4 times harder because the temp work is just trash every time. And so all we do is deliver cabinets. So we get a semi truck comes full of cabinets, big cabinets and cardboard boxes, and it backs up to this giant hoist out, it's like an elevator sort of outside of the building, and you just are delivering them to rooms in an apartment complex.
You don't even install them?
No, all we're doing is the delivery.
I totally thought you guys were installing cabinets.
No.
Is this the same guy that did Bragg?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's it's an apartment. It's an apartment building, and so we're delivering all these cabinets to the rooms. So we do this pretty much every Saturday. There's been a couple Saturdays off, but it's pretty much every Saturday. And Gus and I show up today, and we're just waiting.
Yeah,
and
we show up
waiting.
for ourselves, by the way.
Yeah.
We always show up because we're the best there is. And some people at our house don't show up. Some people don't get up, and they don't show up. And they don't make money. They spend money. Yeah.
Yeah, Nate called out last night.
I don't care. I
Last
worked my
night?
butt off.
Yeah, Nate calls out last night.
Oh.
Right before.
The beer thief.
Nate calls out right before the job, basically, and we get there, and there were supposed to be 9 guys. 4 of us showed up,
Four of us
Great.
showed up.
Incredible.
and the truck never came. And Brad's got he's emailing everybody attached to the job. He's calling everybody related in any way, and they just don't show up. He buys us breakfast at the place right down the road.
I got a jelly donut.
Oh man.
And
Yeah.
by the way, they make these donuts right in front of you.
Yeah, they do. They
Yeah?
fill them, and
And I was like, I'll take a raspberry donut. And he takes the donut out of the case, and he's like, hold on, I got to fill it real fast.
No
And
way.
he takes it over to the jelly filler and fills it up for me.
Where is this?
It's in Durham.
Oh, it's a little far.
Yeah. But what an incredible donut. Oh, it was warm.
In the deal? In the oil?
Oh, yeah.
After before or after the dipping? In the deal?
Right before. It was delicious.
Oh my god.
It was flaky on the outside, creamy on the inside because of raspberry filling.
Very nice.
What a wonderful experience that was.
yeah, it was. I didn't have a donut, but I had a bacon, egg, and cheese, or a biscuit, sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. So
Yeah,
good.
kind of boring actually.
Yeah. So
I'm
basically,
here for it, Tyler.
we were paid for 4 hours this morning. We woke
to
up
just go and get
to
breakfast.
just go get
early.
breakfast and hang out with
Get
Brad.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
In Durham.
Nate called out and missed 4 free hours of
Man.
pay, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a lesson on
That's
working.
expensive hours, by the
I was
way.
gonna say, poor Brad is just taking that loss.
Well, he's not
He's
because he
not
gets to build
the
the
cabinet
truck
company.
Oh no way.
Oh,
Either
yeah.
the truck company or the cabinet company, he gets to bill them for those hours because he
Good.
had guys. So
Yeah.
and so he'll bill them and he'll probably make money off of it
Cool.
more than he's paying us. So
Good.
yeah. Otherwise, I would not have him pay us because
Yeah.
I actually like the dude, but no, he's definitely making cash off this too. He always makes cash off any situation.
Yeah,
He doesn't lose money. I've never seen that man lose money
man, good
except for
man.
his kids.
Ooh.
But that's
That is one piece of advice I've gotten from several guys. Is what not to do in your 20s is have kids without being married.
oh
It's
yeah.
always the first thing. Yeah.
Well,
That is
speaking
how-
of, yeah, one of the guys who was there with his baby and the baby mama.
Yeah.
And then Nate told us that he has another baby, but it's not even his. It's the baby mama's.
Mm,
So he took on 2.
man.
One of them is full on purebred, I guess. And one's a mutt.
That's weird. Take your baby and your baby mama to the job site at 5 a.m.
But I want to know where was the other baby because I only saw one.
Mm.
There was only one baby. It was probably in the trunk.
They're crate training him still. He's at home.
Crate training.
Great training.
I was thinking about that. You could probably crate train people,
I
and
think
they
it's called a playpen.
yeah, it is. They have words for them, but you just can't
Yeah.
put a top on it. You
Yeah.
can put a baby in a cage as long as there's no top, and you watch him escape all the time. But it's still just morally not okay to put a top on
Why
it.
can't you
Make
put a
it
top
taller.
on it?
If it's a crib with a top on it, you know what it's called?
What?
A cage.
So?
Some reason
Trump,
not allowed.
Biden, and Obama all built those for immigrants.
Yeah.
True for grown
And if
adults.
they didn't put a top on it, all 3 of them would still be president. Or I guess all 2 of them.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, you're not supposed to do cages unless it's jail.
Or what about the drone strikes though?
That's different
Those
than a
don't have
cage.
roofs.
Yeah, there's no roofs.
Yeah, no roofs on a drone.
Yeah, they're in the
strike.
clear there.
Just blowing it up from the
Playpen.
bottom out.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That was a crazy play too. The drone strikes.
Mm.
They were like, we can fly these planes without people in them. I have an idea.
Drone strike.
Maybe our
them.
kids will be watching movies about whoever created the drone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, and they'll have to have an actor that's Obama and say, "Press the drone strike."
Where's the nearest wedding?
send the drone strike.
The button is just shaped like a bunch of little kids, and he just mashing it.
Be the change, baby. Be the
Need to
change.
change.
One drone strike at a time.
One drone strike.
Not to change the subject, but I saw something at the airport this past week that I thought was so crazy. I wrote it in my phone.
You did?
Yeah.
All right, explain.
I saw a guy running through the airport, which is already weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's already weird when people are running through the airport because, like, what are you doing? Why are you running?
Don't people run to their gates all the time though? To make
Okay.
connections.
Yeah, right. Maybe they're trying to get to the connections. This guy had no legs
What?
So he was waddling.
He
to
was
the-
running.
and
With
no
no-
hands.
He was a nugget.
He was in a wheelchair and he had elbow pads on. He had elbow pads on and he's using his elbows. And he doesn't have any legs and he doesn't have any hands. He's just got like from shoulder to elbow and little elbow pads on, and he's smacking the crap out of the wheel, and he's going fast, and there's a guy running next to him, can't even keep up. I'm like, why isn't he pushing him?
What?
And he ran all the way past me.
Is he in a wheelchair?
Oh yeah, but he didn't have
And
legs.
he's smacking the wheel with his nub.
He's nubbing the wheels with his elbows
Oh
because that's
my-
all he's got, and he's going fast too.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
and I couldn't believe I was watching
I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine what's going on in my brain.
And the time before that I was at the airport, I saw a guy have a seizure. And it was really
you
stressful.
need to stop going to airports.
The guy was like on the ground, and all of a sudden it's like, you know when the air gets still and everyone looks the same direction, and then someone's like, is there any doctors? Like they all would do in the movies, because they're just like, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And then there's like everybody screaming like, we need a doctor or a nurse or a medical professional. Someone screamed that.
medical
They
professional.
said we need a doctor or a nurse or a medical professional. They screamed.
And I'm a communications major.
Yeah.
I help send out the bills.
If you're not
And
a
then-
professional, don't come over.
And then a nurse started running over, and she wasn't fit to run either, but she did.
Yeah, it's classic.
she was balled out.
Yeah, she was big. She was a rather
Nice.
large nurse, and she
Nice.
ran over, and she like, I don't know, got him on his side and like stuck his tongue to not his throat or whatever. Like you gotta get him to not choke and stuff. And then he just came back too. He came back.
He came back
in.
too?
Yeah, and then the paramedics came and they were talking to him for a while, and then they gurned him out.
Nice.
They put him on the gurn and took him away, and I was like, this guy's
Take it
gonna miss
away,
his
Gurn.
flight. So that happened. I just don't. I'm not really a big fan of airports or airplanes or captains. I told a captain, good job landing.
You told him good job?
Yeah, because he landed so good, and he looked at me
Smooth
like I was
landings are hard to
crazy.
find.
It's so funny. Like everyone getting off the plane is like, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the flight. Thank you. Oh, did I do anything?
No.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I even catch myself whenever I've gotten off a plane. I'm like, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the flight. It's just his job. It's like a taxi driver.
Everyone's like, thank you, thank you, thank you, and then I'm like, beautiful landing, by the way.
you're like-
I'm the only one who's ever commented on the actual flight, I guess, because all of the stewardesses and the captain all looked at me like I had just like said spoken a different language. All I said was like beautiful landing. That's what I said, because it was beautiful. Like
You were
I didn't even.
challenging him as a pilot.
I was watching I was watching out the window. Didn't even feel the wheels hit. Just felt like the slow like gravity return. It was crazy.
Way to handle that eastward wind.
I mean, I thought that I should say something meaningful to him because I know that like landing's not easy probably.
Get
And-
some rest. Get some rest.
He landed so well, and I say it, and I got this look back in exchange like I was crazy for saying good landing. What am I? I'm supposed to be one of these little sheep that says like, thank you.
That
should've
he was
clapped.
he was ticked
You should've
off that
clapped
you
when
said
you
good
landed.
landing.
He just looked
He's like,
confused.
I know I did a good landing.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Start commenting on the plane. You're like, wow, that was
Yeah.
a great landing for an Airbus.
Yeah.
More of a Boeing man myself.
This plane's a little gay.
Yeah. So you like not being in control of the vessel?
They let you fly these? Say something like super rude.
What
as
kind
you
of
get out the
plane were you on?
I'm like a big Boeing.
What'd you fly?
Good, good.
What's the airline?
American.
Ooh, that's a nice airline. I've never flown American before.
I flew Southwest. 2 times I've flown Southwest past like noon. Both times they got delayed at least a couple
I've
hours.
only ever flown Frontier, baby. Come on now.
Frontier is solid for what you pay.
Frontier is the value.
I've done
The
Spirit.
value Airbus.
Did you Spirit ever?
I never did Spirit,
Little
but
clunky.
honestly, I feel like Frontier might be lower.
Hey, come on, dude. It's
Dude,
not.
We took a flight to New York for $40.
That's cheaper
pretty
than
good.
the bus.
That's pretty good, though.
The bus to New York is like 60.
Yeah, it was. We walked on the tarmac to the plane.
Did you really? You walked out on the runway?
Yeah, they like let us out and then we walked upstairs.
They can't afford like the
Yeah.
tube that spits you right on the
The
plane.
tube.
that was a $60 flight.
Wow.
That's kind of cool though. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd like to walk around.
I
down
hate when
there.
you're on a plane and you start hitting like turbulence and you don't know what is the level of turbulence that's normal and what's the level that's stressful. Because
That's
you
death.
see, you look around, you start looking at
Yeah.
people when you're in the turbulence, and some people look nervous and some people look like they're just like bored. And you're like, I have no idea what the threshold is.
I
Sometimes
think-
you're
I
like
think it
really
takes a-
bumping around. You're like, I'm glad I have my seatbelt on. I would fall out of this seat. And you're like, is this
I think
normal?
it takes a lot.
I don't
Yeah.
know though.
I'm expecting if like I die in a plane crash, it's gonna be pretty quick. Like I won't realize that we're in a plane crash.
Oh, you'll realize you're in a
I don't
plane
think
crash.
you will.
Some people would not realize.
Bro, you don't think you'll realize when you're like
No.
sailing straight to the ground?
I'm
No.
playing Mario Kart on my Switch, listening to
And
something.
they're like, oh,
It's gonna be
our
slightly
wings have
bumpy.
detached.
And you're like, yeah, this is regular.
Surely we had wings
Turbulence.
when we left.
Yeah.
This is normal turbulence.
the whole Airbus is like beeping and the oxygen
oxygen,
comes
yes, I
down and
know.
you're like, what is going on?
Oh,
Normal turbulence.
I asked them for. I got an AHA on the plane on the last flight,
Really?
What was that?
and I said, "Can I get a can of
Oh,
AHA?"
that's an
Yeah.
American thing.
And they gave me an entire
American
can.
Airlines.
She brought-
Frick outta
She brought
here.
everybody. No, I was on Southwest that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you said ask for the can, and I did. And I was like, "Do you have AHA?" Because I pulled out. It was like 2 a.m. and I wanted to go to sleep. I couldn't fall asleep, so instead I was just like reading the menu that was in the airplane back seat table. Or
Did not have
whatever.
you Kindle?
I did. I read a bunch.
Kindle.
I read a bunch, but I also was reading the menu, and it said AHA, like the sparkling water, and I was like, "Hey," when she came over, I was like, "Do you have the AHA?" She's like, "Yeah, we do." I was like, "Can I get a can of that?" And she brings everybody a little tiny thimble of stuff, and
Shot glass.
she brings me just ice, and I'm like, "That's not what I asked for." And then she pulls out of her apron an entire can of AHA and hands it to me,
Beautiful.
and I was like, "This is perfect."
Just for you.
But the issue was I was like reading, and I had a lot of stuff to manage, and we were getting into some of the turbulence. So I was getting like bumped around, and I was like trying to pour. I had to pour my AHA into the ice water like 8 times before it was done.
Oh, the cup was so
The cup
small.
was very small.
Okay.
So it was worth it because I was more hydrated probably than the rest of the passengers combined,
Wow.
but it wasn't worth it because it was so much.
That is what is the point of the wings breaking off in the turbulence world?
Yeah, like
I've
what level?
been on a very turbulent flight. It's probably because it's Frontier, and they make their paper mache planes out there. But
How many planes do you know that have had their wings fall off?
I think
Zero.
zero. I think
My
zero.
place.
Yeah.
So I think you're good.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think any of the wings have fallen off from turbulence, but you feel them. You feel them bouncing.
They do bounce, and you can watch them bounce. When you take
Yeah.
off, you watch the wing go. It's like drooping down to it's like up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're looking at the bottom, like the top of it, and then all of a sudden you're looking at like the bottom of it, and you're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of lift. This might be more lift than we need.
Do you ever go into the airport gift shops?
No.
Never.
Really?
Well, I did. I go in there and I get a like an egg and cheese burrito under the heat lamp.
I think it's more for the ladies because I've never been in one either. But everyone's saying, "Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, they
have
got.
great sushi.
oh
there.
yeah, they
Yeah.
yeah."
They've got egg and cheese.
You know they allow the zinnies on the Boeings. You know
What are you talking about?
the little nicotine packets. Oh,
Yeah, and they do, and they've got the egg and cheese burritos and such, which are good for breakfast if you haven't eaten yet. Because for some reason, every flight I've been on lately has been either so early in the morning or so late at night. I haven't had a flight except for one in the past that was like right in the middle. Right in the middle. No, it's always super early, like so early that you have to wake up at 4 to make it to the airport,
Yeah.
or so late that you're home at 3.
The last couple flights that we took were that way as
Yeah.
well.
Which I understand they're cheaper, but it really is annoying. And I was in Atlanta, and this is something interesting that happened in Atlanta. We took the MARTA, which is their like underground subway system thing.
I had no idea they had one.
They do, and it only is one route, and it goes from like downtown Atlanta to the airport, which is south of downtown Atlanta, the big Hartfield McCoy or whatever airport. And so we were just taking it between our Airbnb and the show we were doing, and we get into the MARTA a couple times, and there's these guys just like yelling at us. And there's like mice running around, and it's like really gross.
They wanted to bring New York City to.
Oh, they were. Like there was 2 times. Like one time we were walking up the steps to MARTA, and I had like a couple of drinks, and I was like kind of like really paying attention to the steps I was walking up, because it was kind of like I was kind of falling up the steps, and this guy is like, "Why y'all looking back at me?" And I was like, "What?" And then I trip on the steps because I stopped looking at the steps when he yelled at me, because I was like, maybe I am looking back at him. I don't know. And I trip, and I'm like, see, I'm looking at the steps, not at you. And he just doesn't respond at all. And then another time when we're leaving, I get yelled at by this guy, and he's like, "Oh, you guys go back to your people. Tell them Atlanta was pretty good, but there was too many black people." And I look at him and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And he's going,
a little charge.
he's going up the escalator as I'm going down, and they're like 400 feet tall escalators, like multiple stories. Like you're on it for 3 minutes. And I'm looking at him. I'm right across from him, but he's going up and I'm going down. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like almost yelling, but I thought he was kidding, kind of. So I was being a little sarcastic. He wasn't kidding.
That's tough.
I was so mad. I couldn't
No, you
believe
can't
it.
play with those types of people.
Oh, I was about
You
to.
just gotta
I was
shoot
about
'em
to
up.
fight him.
You just gotta shoot him up.
You can't bring weapons on the MARTA.
The MARTA.
Can't bring weapons on the MARTA.
And he said the MARTA goes a lot of different places.
It's one route. It's one route. I'll look it up. Let's do it.
What is it called?
The MARTA.
MARTA. And that's racist, almost.
It is a little racist.
Because only the black people take the MARTA. Sorry, excuse me.
It doesn't show their route. Oh, rail line. Interactive system map. Here we go.
It only goes from downtown to the
I feel like it'd be really odd if it only went one way.
It's super long. It's a super long way.
But even so.
Oh,
Oh, what is this?
It's a big map.
Oh.
Oh, it goes all
Oh,
over the
it's a
place.
lot.
Oh, no, this is the one I rode. I rode this one all the way. Look, airport, this is the airport, this is downtown. There's also like 4 other ones. There's
only one route though.
Okay, I took the route from here all the way to the end of the route at the airport here. See Hartfield
man.
Jackson.
Oh, yeah,
I rode
yeah,
it. I rode it from downtown
40
all the way.
Yeah.
So you can ride it north, west, south, east. Yeah, most of it's in the air, but right up when you get up into downtown Atlanta, it's underground, very far underground. I'm not claiming to be some expert on the
Geographically challenged.
yeah.
That's okay though.
The one I rode was this one.
It's not that many railways. It's just yeah, it is north, south,
It's
east,
3.
west. And then that little green one.
The green one's like a little midge one that goes up here
it
to
is a little midge one.
goes a
But
Bankhead
the
station.
4 corners are downtown.
Yeah, and Atlanta is a strange place. There's my favorite part about Atlanta is there's this little cigar shop that we go to, and it's this older guy who he might as well like live at the little cigar shop. And we asked him like, how did you end up owning a cigar shop? He's like, well, a buddy of mine, he bought one, a cigar shop, and then we went into it together, and then I ended up buying him out of it, and he bought another one, and he's like, yeah, this whole story. He's like, my wife died back in blah, 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 and he's like, I'm just owning this cigar shop, and there's like always a bunch of people willing to talk to you about anything in the cigar shop.
I think I would never buy a cigar shop as an investment.
No, it's a horrible investment. Yeah, if your
wife dies,
and you
I'll buy a
like-
cigar
yeah.
shop. Yeah.
But he also has he told me he had a girlfriend, but then he was talking about her in the past tense. So I was like, "Are you not with your girlfriend?" He's like, "Well, that's when he like told me his wife died because he'd also talked about his wife." So I was confused. And he was like, "Yeah, his girlfriend, he broke up with her, but they still hang out. It's about to be her birthday, and they're going out soon."
Oh,
But he's like, "But I tried to take her somewhere fancy, and she said she didn't want to go somewhere fancy, and he was like fighting with her."
Oh, okay.
But and then he said that she didn't like cigars. So I think that was like a big issue with them.
that's a pretty big issue if you own a cigar shop.
Yeah, he owns a cigar shop. He all day is like smoking and hanging around cigars, and they've got like fancy air cleaners in there, so it doesn't really.
Did they have a good humidifier?
Oh yeah, the humidor. Yeah, really good. I think
Because that's all that matters.
And I
at
asked
the
him.
cigar shop.
I asked him how he does ordering, like how often that he does ordering, and he's like, depends on the one. And he's like, when he was new at it, he would just order anything anybody suggested and think it was gonna sell, and then that would just not sell.
Yeah.
So now he knows like exactly what to buy that's gonna sell. He also thinks is good.
Mm.
So yeah, that was another interesting thing.
Did he recommend anything to you?
Yeah, those Palencias.
Palencia. And they were good?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Some of them were expensive though, so I didn't get those. But I assume they were good.
Okay, I gotta pee real fast.
Okay.
Be right back.
Do a little break.
Back in there!
Back in.
Getting some heated debate here.
Yeah, we had some discussion with our studio audience for a little bit there.
Studio audience started to kind of go crazy there for a second.
Yeah.
We were just discussing the wokeness of Hollywood, and I thought while watching Oppenheimer, I thought it was interesting because 2 days ago I just watched the new Barbie movie,
Yeah.
and in Barbie, there's a line that it's impossible to be a woman, and they go on this whole 2-minute rant about how hard it is to be a woman.
Okay.
Which I am not, to clarify, air out the room. I'm not saying that any sex is harder to be. I think it's a dangerous game to play, but I'm not saying that it's easy for anyone. I think life is hard all around, and no matter what cards you get, your life is always going to be hard no matter what gender or no matter what social class you're in. With that being said, I thought it was very interesting that Barbie painted it as like women have this out and it's like challenging for this and it's hard to do this and it's hard to do that, you know. And then going to Oppenheimer when he broke down and he's sobbing, like ugly crying in the woods when he's trying to escape reality. His wife comes to him and says, pull it together.
Yeah.
There's not even like an ounce of sympathy. It's like get up and
Yeah.
like do your job.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very interesting political thing. And then we wonder why, out of 50% of men in the population, 80% of suicides are men.
Yeah.
I think it's a dangerous road to say that women, it's impossible to be a woman and then not look at these statistics. And that's not saying that, again, that's not saying that one is harder than the other. I'm just saying that it's interesting to look at how we treat one sex versus the other.
Oh yeah.
I agree, Will. There's a man crisis.
So, but at the same time,
There's a man crisis. We're oppressed.
Is it true though?
is it true? Which part?
The guy's crying.
In the movie? Or in general?
He's sobbing. He's sobbing in the woods because he's come to the realization that he might destroy the entire earth.
I thought that was when his lover killed herself.
Was that?
Destroy the entire earth. It's just
Because the theory that he had with the bomb, the 0.0001% chance would scorch the entire earth.
so be it. Is it true?
I think the fear. I think the
Not
fear
now,
of that,
But
was
they
that
hadn't tested it yet.
It would ignite the atmosphere.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
true that he cried because of that.
We haven't fact checked it. I'm just
We
looking
haven't
at-
fact checked.
I'm
We-
just looking
we-
at the
okay, so
Hollywood
what-
perspective of men versus women. Is
We
my
think it's because
particular
of
point.
his lover died.
He's making a nuclear bomb. He's crying.
No,
He's
I
crying.
hear you.
He's crying. Makes you
We think he's crying.
I say it's BS.
No, so I think he was crying because
His-
his girlfriend, his lover, not his wife, his lover that he actually had the soul connection to, killed herself. That's what I thought he was crying about.
I think you're right. I
Okay.
think you're right.
So for me, I thought that was a big loss. Like like something worth crying about. If you're a male, okay. so
It's just whatever. Whatever, dude.
If your woman dies and you
Yeah.
cry, you're a pussy.
you want to cry about it?
You're not going to tell anyone about it.
Don't make
No,
the
I
world
just thought it was
spite
interesting
you.
that we have a men's suicide month and like a prevention and for mental mental
Hellness.
Hellness.
pardon. And
You're pardoned.
then we have Barbie that's like speaking about this, and then it finally shows like men actually
Yeah.
having distress. It's like, hey, maybe don't think about your feelings for a second,
Yeah.
okay? You got a war to save. Is my only point
Yeah.
to the whole thing. I think it's interesting to look at how Hollywood is treating that. And people, again, it's frustrating to me because people are surprised that men kill themselves. So, which, I think something that's like also a struggle for me goes into the fact that I don't want to say I don't care, but I only care about friends that have problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna go and post on social media and be like,
Like,
you can
men
cry on
need
my
to-
shoulder. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that I'm not gonna be here for someone that like approaches me, but
Yeah, there's like
Oh,
a...
what'd you say?
He's about to throw out a slur right there.
No, we've got... I had an interesting conversation with an African girl at...
Why does it
In
Why does
Atlanta?
her race matter?
because it was cool because
Yeah,
she
what the
wasn't
heck?
American. It wasn't her race. It was,
Oh.
it was her
Pardon me
nationality.
for assuming. That was my bad, actually.
No, there was these two Indian guys and this African girl. We were in like a common area of the Airbnb, which is like an apartment complex, and they were living there more long term than we were. She was working at McMaster Car, and the Indian guys were at in school.
Okay.
And we were talking to them, and it was funny because like the stuff that plagues like Americans, like all the stuff everyone's talking about, like the racism and that kind of stuff, like that. It's like hot button topics, just not hot button topics for them because they're worried about topics in like their own
Like
countries,
hunger.
like different
war.
topics. Yeah.
Yeah, like electricity.
Like
Survival.
casteism and like overpopulation, like there's different stuff going on. They don't care.
That's
So it was
crazy.
really interesting to talk to those people because they didn't like. We were just talking about like being a person more than the little problems.
Yeah.
Because they had different problems, and we even brought up like racism, and they were like, "What do you think about racism in America?" And I was like, I mean, like, I was like, there definitely is some. And but it's also definitely like like it's a hot button thing. And then she was like, yeah, your racism sucks. She's like, ours is way more interesting.
Brutal.
Yeah, she's like, it's way better. She's being like super sarcastic. She's like, ours is way more complicated and like better. We got like way more people that are being racismed against. Like it's a lot funnier. And then the Indian guys are like, we just have casteism. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, a caste system sounds terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not even like a different color. You just are poor.
If you're at the top, like I'm not gonna fight for like
Yeah.
people below me.
Yeah. Like you don't even look different. You're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
these people are poors.
Yeah.
Well, Santos can tell you about casting.
Yeah.
Part of the system. Yep.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. It was an interesting conversation, and we talked about because she was talking about the African. She was talking about how it took her a while to try and like African Americans, which is interesting because I have another friend who is African that it's like they feel like they're misrepresented by African Americans, which is interesting because they're Africans. And
At
they
this point-
share like a name, but they're
I
a
was gonna
bunch
say,
of generations.
At this point, they're not
Yeah,
the same.
yeah.
They're, like it's the same as you versus someone in China.
Yeah.
Like, you have nothing in common with them
Yeah. Like
culturally
yeah.
and physically. You know.
No, but it's very interesting. And then we were talking about like the gender stuff that's going on because she's a girl, and she was like, it's important to me that like women are like viewed in this way, and I'm like, well, maybe because I respect women, I'm not the best person to be arguing this, but I'm like, I value the like gender and what it is. I think it's
Yeah.
like a cool biological thing. I think it's awesome, and it's like kind of cool, and to me, it's not one can do something in spite of the other. It's one can do something only with the other.
Yeah.
It's like one can exist only with the other. It's not like they're complementary systems. It's not like if I have this, you can't have it. It's like the genders are complementary to each other, and now they're trying to mud it all around and pretend it's not like a cool, beautiful thing. And you can't even say like, oh, that's masculine, and say it in a good way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not thoughtful if you say that. Very strange. Gus, let's get your take on it.
Yeah. Guess
What take?
you look sleepy over there.
No, it's deep in thought. I was thinking about the OnlyFans girls.
Okay.
Which ones in particular?
Expand on that.
Just basically all of them.
Like Sasha
Oh.
Q.
Sasha Q?
Yeah, you follow her?
No.
OnlyFans? Yeah, she's my favorite OnlyFans girl.
It's just the fact that they're ruining their lives for like future
It's funny because
prospects.
since OnlyFans wasn't a thing when I was in high school, I never went on it. But I bet if OnlyFans was a thing when we were in high school, we would have at least like gone to the website.
Yeah, I've never been there.
I've never been there because it came out when I was out of college pretty much when it was a thing. So it's not like
Yeah. And so
At that
it's
point,
very cringy to
I don't
me.
need to go to
Yeah.
OnlyFans. I don't want to pay some waitress to shake her butt on the internet. I'm not interested.
Now,
OnlyFans.
respectfully, I did bring this up with Philip.
Yeah.
We were talking about someone.
It's like a fetish site.
It's like an Instagram, except you post nudes, but you have a subscription.
It's
to
a
it.
subscription-based thing. So people have to pay to see your content. So people are paying like $5 a month to be able to see what you post. So you're making a bunch of money. So if you have like 1,000 followers
if you
paying you
have-
$5 a month, all of a sudden you're making $5,000 a month, and you're just a girl showing your butthole on the internet.
Guys have them too.
Guys have them too, but they're not making the same kind of cash that
Okay.
these like young girls are making.
Legal.
Couple
Yeah.
of the guys are.
Legal, yeah. There's young meaning like 18 to 30.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of people making boatloads of cash, and I mean, I can't make that cash. I don't have access to it. I don't think I could sell my, like, I don't know, feet or whatever for that much money.
Yeah, you gotta go to Feet Finder for that.
Yeah.
Well, do you think you could snap some pics of me?
Yeah, get
1000%.
some pics of us. We're going to set up our
Set up an
OnlyFans
account.
tonight.
Yeah, just put up a meme page.
They do have them. I mean, like,
Yeah.
OnlyFans wasn't designed to be pornographic.
Yeah,
It was designed to be, like, this cool, like,
porn
content.
finds a way.
Yeah, yeah. It just got mucked up. And do you remember when they said they were going to outlaw
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Yeah.
they were going to outlaw pornographic content
disaster.
on OnlyFans, and then no one was using OnlyFans anymore.
Yeah, they just shot
And
themselves.
so they
You had
brought
a
it back.
$1 billion
They're
idea.
like- they're like, we're bringing
They
back
doubled
porn.
down on sex trafficking. They said maybe it's not that bad.
We have a new update. We're bringing it all back.
We're bringing back the porn. Let's go.
Have you seen that Instagram has a subscribe thing now?
No.
Really?
It's not like a pornographic thing because I don't
Okay.
think Instagram allows.
Yeah, they do.
Instagram's getting like
I don't think they do.
in,
Pedophile friendly.
yeah, Instagram is being checked for like promoting pedophile rings right now.
But you can't like post nudity without like getting taken down.
But you can post little children on there for sale.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if you can post
Wait,
children for
what?
sale.
Yeah,
Where?
they have a whole group of it. They're making money on it. Instagram
We're gonna do some research on this, and we'll be
Yeah.
back in next episode with it.
research. I've already done it for you.
Pick up the mic.
You got to pick up the mic if you're gonna talk. Yeah, because otherwise it's not getting registered.
That's fine.
But then we're not getting any content. It's dead air.
It's pedophile.
We're not getting dead air.
Look, I'll say it right now.
Pick up the outlet.
Instagram is pedophile.
Oh.
Wait,
hold on, wait,
crapped
hold
out.
on,
So
wait,
you
hold
gotta say
on.
it again. Wiggle the
I
cord.
said
There you go.
There you go.
It's back.
You're
It's
good,
back.
you're
It's back.
I said Instagram is pedophile central. They make money, and that would be Mark Zuckerberg
Okay.
makes money on an entire group that is grooming
Oh,
and pedophilia.
it clipped out.
God dang it.
It's Google's.
Wait, hold on. You gotta let the man say what he wants to say.
Yeah, it's on the other side.
It is. You gotta wiggle it a little
Yeah.
bit. That one's a little.
And
Oh,
that's
you're
you
good.
who
You're
messed
good.
that one
You're
up
good now. You're good now.
from shaking it all the time.
It was as soon as you
Do I have
said.
to say it again?
Yeah.
It was as soon as you said ped.
Folks, listen to me. When you go on to Instagram, you are supporting Mark Zuckerberg. He receives money. The Instagram receives money from an entire group that sells little children, pedophiles, and groomers. It's an entire group. I've been watching the reports. I'm sorry that you guys haven't seen that, but it's true.
And how much are we
No, it's
talking?
been-
What are they go?
it's
What are they
been-
going for?
I'll
13.
send you the stories.
Are we talking $500 or like?
No, I mean
about-
this has been in
No.
the news. This has been on like
We're talking millions and billions of dollars. selling
What?
these children.
They're
I
getting
wouldn't
in
pay
trouble.
$1 million for a kid.
No, I'm not kidding you. If you're on Instagram, you're supporting the biggest groomer and pedophile in the country, and that is Mark Zuckerberg. So have a good time with that.
This is on the Wall Street Journal and Variety and The Verge and everything.
Oh yeah,
it's, like,
it's
it's big news.
he's real.
right now.
It's real. It's real. It's real.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
And now it's
Pedophile
like
network.
but the way that they're saying it is that like Meta wasn't aware of it, and now
Yeah.
they're trying
Yeah,
to
sure. They're not
Crack
aware
down.
of it.
they're trying to crack
Yeah.
down on it.
They censor everybody
They're like,
because they know
"Oh."
exactly what everybody's saying and doing, but they don't know about these groups. Whatever.
Set off alarms.
They're
Yeah.
disgusting people. These people are evil. All of them.
That's right. Dad, do you have any conspiracies?
No, I don't have any conspiracies. I only have coincidences.
You know, what about like what about like 9/11?
9/11?
Yeah.
What about? No, there's no. I saw
You think
it.
that was pretty cut and dry?
No, I saw it happen. I was watching the TV when it happened. I saw the planes.
Yeah. But I mean, what about like the inside job situation?
What do you mean inside job?
Bush
I think
orchestrating the
Bush
whole thing.
orchestrating it
Now watch this drive.
to.
No, I don't. No, that's not.
Interesting.
Bush. What was Bush flying the plane or what? What's going
No,
on?
no, Bush
there's the
did
whole
it-
idea that
Bush
he
did an
was
inside job.
in on it so that they could crack down
No.
on privacy because they created a bunch of laws that like were unconstitutional and they went under the radar because all Americans were like scared of security, so they gave up a bunch of their rights. Then these like acts got passed really quick.
Well, that's true. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But that, that's how government works. They respond with ridiculous things
Every time there's
because they're trying to put everybody at ease. So they're like, oh, we've got some new stuff.
yeah.
We got some new laws.
Like
we're
was
gonna
it
pass.
was
We're
it the Patriot
protecting.
Act? I think it was.
They called it the Patriot
everything.
Act
Yeah, and it was like
to
giving
spy
up.
on you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Patriot Act and the FISA.
And they've never
And-
caught
and
anybody.
Did you know that in the last year that the FISA, the people that get these special secret little warrants, have done more than 1 million warrants on American people and spied on them.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they lose their job. When a government agency is doing well, you can tell because they've made their job harder and included more people and gotten a bigger budget. When a private company does well, it's because they've done their job with less people for a smaller budget. So if a government is doing well, they're adding more people and doing more work that's like BS work, like spying on millions of people that are just like they're probably just like looking through your webcam as you're like petting your cat and stuff and just right in your privacy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's a good
And that's
chance that, they've looked at you.
Oh yeah, they're peeking at you. Cuz you know that
if you say the wrong word or that they think is wrong, they'll be looking at you.
They're looking through my Kindle.
there's so much data. They can't see through my Kindle cuz I got it on airplane mode cuz I'm waiting to jailbreak it.
No, they can still see you on
Yeah.
airplane mode.
No, they can't see me on airplane mode.
You
Got
can
to cover
see.
the lens.
It doesn't have a camera either.
Oh.
So like if
That's
they're
what they
seeing
want
me,
you
it's,
to
like,
think,
through
though.
the Yeah,
That's
there's
what they
no-
want you to think. It's in the D at the top.
right
Yeah.
in the Kindle, in the logo. If you look really close in the eye and the dot on the eye, there's like a little tiny camera and a microphone. No, I thought about that because I was using that on a plane. I was reading, and it's like the last device that I have that's not dead when it's not connected to the internet. It's like I can still use it because I can store. I've got like 14 books on it that I have never read, which is like 14 times at least 5 hours each book of entertainment for me, and it doesn't have to be connected to the internet. Like everything else, I need to stream. Like all my music is gone because I don't actually have any music on my phone. I stream it all. All my shows are streamed.
You don't download your music?
I
on
download
Spotify?
some of it, and the more I've been flying, the more music I've been downloading. But
Mm.
I usually don't because I always have access.
I download podcasts because I download them on my watch,
Oh,
and then they automatically download on my phone.
yeah.
Always got them.
Mm.
Unlock. Just by the way, you can also. What is the deal with the Spotify books now? Because they're starting to do audiobooks.
Yeah,
have to pay
don't you
for
have
'em.
to pay for it?
Yeah.
But where do you
Yeah,
pay
it's
for them? I tried to
stupid.
pay for one
I think you have to
on
do it
the.
on your
you can't do it on the phone.
Yeah,
What is the deal with that?
because Apple gets a cut if they take any like processing through the phone.
So you have to do it on the
You
PC.
have to do it through like www.
You could probably do it on the Android app.
See, that's so
yeah, you
bizarre.
probably could.
Apple tries to take everything, and they keep
Yeah.
getting in trouble for it, and then people just forget.
Yeah, and Spotify's completely gone around that, so they're not like paying at all.
Because their
Well,
hardware is so good.
I guess they might be on the.
I mean, they're
actual
definitely
platform.
paying Apple somehow if they're being on their platform at all.
Yeah,
But
they're not getting
less.
paid for like processing and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. That's like Amazon. We have, where I work, we have the ability to put stuff on Amazon if we want. But not only do they take 15% off the top, they also give you these crazy, like, returns are always accepted. So they'll take a return and you'll like just get shipped this crap. It's like all busted
A
up.
broken pen.
Yeah, and it's like you can't even say anything about it, and you've signed all this stuff already. Like it's really rough on small businesses. Amazon
It
is,
sucks.
but it's good for small buyers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's funny. Like some people want to have that, you know, and like I've returned stuff before that's not. It might be like slightly south of returnable, just slightly, but it was also crappy. It's like I've never returned something good because I used the good stuff. But I have returned stuff before that was like I might have taken slight advantage of it. But
The Amazon return system is too good.
it's so easy. And you can go to like Kohl's or Whole Foods and just drop it off with no
Yeah.
box. Just
Yeah.
drop off the thing and they take care of all of it.
And they're doing the
And it's free.
have you seen where you'll buy like a tech piece and you can buy it for not buy it for free, but use it for 90 days for free, and then you can decide if you want it or not.
I didn't know that. I know about
That's crazy.
the clothes
Yeah.
the clothes thing.
What's the clothes thing?
It's the what's it called? Amazon wardrobe. You can buy like a bunch of stuff if it's clothes. You don't pay for it until you keep it for 30 days. And you can just send back everything for free. You never even get a charge to your card until you keep it. Yeah. Yeah. You don't pay for anything you don't keep. And you just get sent a bunch of free clothes. And then the issue is you all have them already. So you're like caught on it. You like them.
You want them.
You wear them. You like
so you
them.
could just get all your clothes for events off of Amazon and never pay for anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you kept them clean,
Yeah.
you could pretty much just do that.
Just
But it's so
rotate
much
through.
work. But it's less work than the amount of work you have to do to spend on those clothes.
To buy the clothes.
Yeah. That's another thing too. The amount of work that it takes to do all this stuff we want to do, like just all your goals in general.
Like have a pink Porsche.
Yeah. If you want a pink Porsche,
You want a pink Porsche?
the amount of
though?
work you have to do to that,
What kind
I'll
of Porsche?
I'll show you a video. 911.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
you could just be doing that. No one is
No one is what?
doing all that work.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's doing that work to get the pink Porsche. Except there's like a few people, and you know what they have?
A pink Porsche.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few people who they just do the work.
I guess.
Yeah. What's up?
What do you got?
What do you got? What do you got? What do you
You
got?
got a pink Porsche pulled up.
Oh,
Oh, my bad.
I got it. Your network is unstable. You're gonna take.
Oh, that is a pink Porsche. It's doing donuts in the
It's
rain.
pretty, right?
GT3.
Yeah, I want a GT3. It's 1104.
1104.
Yeah, that is a cool car.
It's so sick, right?
Dang.
If I was gonna get a German car, and I could do any German car, it would for sure be
Yeah.
a real, just like
Yeah,
like
that's
a
cool.
simple and clean Porsche.
Yeah.
Pass it on. Pass it on.
I don't
We
want
did,
some fancy one. I want like a really simple like
I
911.
want somebody I can like drive the mess in.
Yeah, before you go, we need some words of wisdom that are non-political.
Non-political?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you something. When you finally get married, I've told this to Tyler. The wife or the woman is always right. And you just need to walk away from it. And that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. And we
That's it.
talked about this because if
It's
you
true.
argue it, then you win.
Yeah,
Even
we
if you
actually
win,
talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, Gus and I talked about this separately yesterday.
Or it was
You did.
maybe it was this morning. Was it this morning? On the way to Durham.
I think it was at the cigar shop yesterday.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about how, yeah, if you win, then you're just sad.
No, there's no winning. Look,
winning
This-
is like
no,
losing.
this is the
worse.
You've got to submit to your wife in that scenario. I mean,
Beta.
in most cases, the man wins. But in this scenario, you've got to submit because, she gives you what you want, right? And that's it.
That's true.
So when do you
And
what do you pick and choose for like
Where do you hold the ground?
yeah, because I feel like you don't want to be a pushover in a relationship for either the man or the woman, right? Or do you disagree?
Well, Amy always says that the man is the head of the house and the woman is the neck. So she turns your neck the way she wants, but you still get to make eventually decisions.
I've never heard that before. That's kind of funny.
That is true. That is true. But the biggest thing of letting your wife being right is the peace. And if you have no peace, you can argue and do this and that all you want, but you're not going to have peace in your house. And if you do not have peace in your house, it will not be fun for you. That's the deal. And you can obviously there's things that you will go to bat for. I'm not exactly sure what they are. I want to buy this house. If it's a house, you got to go with the woman. There's all kinds of, but like, I want to do this or I want to build this or, let me tell you this. If you agree with your wife all the time, then she will submit to you when you are making sense. And there will be peace in your house, period, the end. Because when you have something to say, she'll have nothing to say but, other than what she thinks is, when she disagrees with you, that's one thing. But most of the time that you are right, she'll be like, yes, that's the way to go. Because of the peace that you've made in the house. She will give you what you want. That's the thing. She will give you what you want if you submit to her being right all the time. She
Also,
will.
it depends on the woman, right?
No. Well, that's true. I mean, I don't know everything. Obviously some women.
Yeah,
are
because
bad-
Ma is a
they're-
certain a certain
some
type of woman.
Some women are batshit crazy. So there's nothing you
Like
can do
Ma,
about that.
just like Ma.
But, no, not
It's
Ma.
entrapment. Don't answer
No,
that.
not Mom. No, let's not put that. But that's the key. If you agree with what she says you're wrong with, then when you want to do something, it will.
So you just have to be emotionally agreeable.
It'll happen for you, and it will bring peace to your.
That's what I was telling Tyler.
peace.
Is the key to women is you have to be an agreeable person. You can
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
disagreeable personality, but you
there's
have to be
no
agreeable.
doubt. Otherwise
to
you'll just
women.
argue and blah 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 blah. No, she's right, and then when you want
Yeah.
to do something, she will say yes, and
Yeah.
that's the key.
He said, "I want to buy an RV." She's
Yeah,
like,
I wanna buy
"Okay,
an RV.
you
Actually,
you deserve it."
Yeah,
That's what she'll say.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, you want a bike?
Yep.
Get a bike.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've had two situations happen that completely agrees with this. I've had it before where I've stood for whatever I thought, which was just some BS at the time that didn't even matter, and then I win the argument because, she's like
She gives up.
she gives up, and then you just feel horrible because
Yeah.
she's all mad and upset,
Yes.
and you didn't actually get anything for it, for
Nothing.
fighting for it. And I've also had a situation where I've said something, she disagreed. I completely let it go. Like, didn't even argue it for a second. And then, like, a couple of days later, I hear her saying what I said to somebody else. And I'm just quiet. I'm just like, she heard me. She knew what I said, and she heard it. And I didn't have to say anything. I never argued. I get to be right through her being right.
Right. By her saying, by you saying that you're right, you win. You will win.
Yeah, I didn't
you
say
win later.
I didn't even say anything to argue it. I was just like, okay, I understand what you're saying. Is pretty much what I said, and I had completely said something she didn't agree with.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, that makes sense. You win or whatever. I didn't even say you win.
It is tough. It's tough for guys to learn because by nature we're way more disagreeable.
But
we're
listen,
way more disagreeable, and by nature women are agreeable.
If you can win that early, your life will be beautiful with a wife and a girlfriend. Literally. I don't know about a girlfriend because they don't have any commitment, but certainly a wife. Certainly a wife.
Yeah.
There will be your mom.
What about a fiance?
Your mom and I have about one argument a year. Literally.
Yeah, I remember the last one.
Usually it's alcohol induced, which is null and void. It means nothing in the morning.
Alcohol.
No one doesn't even count.
Yeah. So, because I've learned that.
Well, the last one I had to beat you guys into shape. That was ridiculous.
Well, that was alcohol induced, and that. I'm telling you, but normally I'm on my game.
Enter game, but
yeah, honey, yes.
You got
Yes.
cocky with the devil's,
you got cocky.
Devil's water. You got cocky.
Yeah, you do get cocky once in a while, but that's when you have arguments. If you don't want to have any arguments, you want peace and love.
And cockiness is disagreeableness.
Oh yeah, and you should cocky your friends, not your woman.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that is the.
I don't agree with that, Tyler. I think you're wrong.
And
You guys shouldn't
here's
cocky my friends.
One other piece of advice when you get a wife or, close to a wife, is you just love them. Period. The end. There's no.
You definitely got to find the right one, right?
That your life will be beautiful. I mean, beautiful. No arguments. Everybody gets what they want. Everyone loves
Agreeableness and unconditional love.
There's conditions, but
well,
there is
very
no
basic.
such thing as human unconditional love.
You don't
except for if you
unconditional
talk about
love
Christ.
my mother?
No.
Oh my
don't.
God.
Can you
No,
believe
because
that?
if your
Can't
mother started
even-
like punching you every time you saw her, that would be a condition.
Like if she went out and cheated on me? No. That's not
yeah, you'd be
unconditional
mad
love.
at her.
I'll be mad.
Yeah. yeah. I'm telling you, you can't have unconditional love in a human situation. It's very difficult.
It's low
There's
conditional
only
love.
one person that
You
can
want
do
to
that.
skim condition.
There's only one
Skim
person
conditional.
that can do that, and it's
I feel like I would give unconditional love.
no, you can't.
I feel like I would though.
Impossible. Parents can't do it. If their kids
I'm like a
piss
golden
them off
retriever,
so
though.
bad, drugs, blah 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 blah. They're like, I'm done with you. I
I
can't.
don't even like that guy.
I can't do it.
I made him. I don't even like him.
I know people. I know the society and culture says that's possible, but it's just not.
Mm.
It's
Oh
just
my
not.
God.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah. Okay.
What I would give to
That
feel.
was my words of wisdom.
I like it. I like it.
I gotta pee so bad.
Okay, we'll do another pee time.
Peace. Caleb listens to every one of these podcasts,
Good.
and that's something he needed to hear.
Yeah, and he's gonna hear that. I'm not editing that out. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I guess we'll do closing remarks because, like you were saying when we were having a pee, I'm going to edit this episode and then I'm going to publish this episode and I'm going to schedule it for Monday, and then in the morning I'm going to shove a bunch of clothes in a bag and ride to Wilmington on my motorcycle.
Oh, because you're riding. Of course you're riding.
I don't have a car that works right now. My truck battery's dead, and
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Shoot.
So I'm just bike only right now. I'm bikeless. I'm bikeful.
You're kind of BO'd right now.
Yeah, I'm biked out. And that's true, and that's real. So let's
That's
give
r-
our closing
That's
remarks.
true, and that's real.
Let's give Will
Let
a
me
chance.
ask, Will. Let me ask you a question.
Will, we'll put you on the spot right now, okay?
If we put, okay, say we had some shirts or
Right.
flannel, and the text "That's life," because that's kind of our thing. We say
That's
that
life.
that's life,
And
that's
life.
it, and that's life. We could say "and that's life" on a shirt.
And that's
Would you buy that shirt?
1,000%. I would never buy that.
I love that answer. That's the
No,
best
I'm just playing. I'm
answer
just
you
playing.
can bet.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys came out with one.
But will it be so high quality, so cool?
Yeah, no. If it was a solid flannel, definitely grab it.
Okay.
It would have a cool logo on the bag. Everything would be good.
I'm trying to
go.
figure out how to use Adobe
Yeah.
Illustrator and get a good logo going.
I'll bet popping off on the AI.
I hear you.
Let me
Do
tell
you still
what.
have your stickers for sale? Because we can
I
tag
do.
them again. We
Yeah,
can
yeah.
plug them
Yeah,
again.
let's plug everything you got, Will.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I just have the 2 stickers, which I showed last time.
Yeah. I'm not going to put them on again because I have to edit this tonight.
That's fine.
But- But give your Instagram.
Instagram is Uncle Ben's Rocket
Okay.
_ in between each word.
Uncle_Benz_Rocket.
Yeah, and it'll be a picture of a bunch of 240s, and then there's stickers there. Just DM me, and I'll get them out to you.
Sweet.
I'm hoping before school starts, I'll get some more stickers out. I got a ton of ideas. I just haven't had the enthusiasm to draw them out, you know?
Yep.
What do you draw them on?
Procreate.
On the iPad?
Yeah, so I just
Nice.
draw them on there, and then
I'm on my iPad. Sorry.
Gus is really fiending for an iPad right now.
I hear you. Yeah,
Excuse me, sorry.
honestly, I used it for this and a couple other things, and it kind of just sits in my room. I don't say it's like a waste of money, but it's a lot of money.
It's not a waste of money, Will, and you know it.
If it was like $500, I'd agree with you.
Which one do you have?
The Air.
The Air. Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't buy the Pro.
That's what I'm going with.
You want the Pro? No.
So
I'm going
actually,
with the Pro with the M2.
I would get the Pro if you did a lot of like video editing.
Oh, that's gonna be me, baby.
Okay. Yeah, then I would
Okay,
definitely
then
go with
he's
that.
editing the pod from
For-
here on out. If
I
he
got
gets a Pro.
I got it because I was like, I assume I'll use a ton of Lightroom, and I assume I'll use like Procreate and all that. And I don't know if I've just like, because I'm so busy with school that I don't really do that much.
Yeah, that's probably why. That's
I
probably
hope
why.
so, because I really don't use it, and I also stopped like doing a lot of photography too. Like
Did you really?
yeah, I just haven't had time to like go out and do anything, or the times that I did have stuff to do, I wasn't like inspired, or
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
inspired
yeah.
and didn't have time.
Okay.
I have the thing where when I was done with school, all of a sudden all my hobbies came back because I didn't have that like overwhelming at any given point. If I'm working on something for me, it should be homework. That's what I felt. I felt like
Yeah.
if I was working on something, I always had homework to do.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
like I didn't want to go do my hobbies because I knew I had homework to do. If I was hanging out with friends, I was hanging out with friends, and then if I was just like where I thought I had to be productive, I felt guilty if I wasn't doing homework.
yeah.
And then once that went away, that guilt, any of my free time, I was like, I can do whatever I want. And now it's like I feel guilty if I'm not doing stuff that I want to do, which is better.
Yeah.
Like if I spend a whole like couple of days just not doing anything I want to get better at or want to do or want to have as one of my hobbies, now I feel guilty if I don't do that.
I get that.
And I like that better than homework because homework sucks balls.
Yeah. I think my biggest problem is there's so many things I want to do that I just get caught in the sauce and like
Yeah.
Stuck in
flounder
the
a little
sauce.
bit, you know?
Oh yeah, you're sauced up.
Quicksand.
Yeah. And that might be like, I just don't know how to get into the hobby that I want to do, or it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
You know, like I really want to get into welding and painting, but both of those are like 3 or 4 years before you really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
Wow. And that's life, Will.
that
And
is
that's
life.
life.
That is
And that's
life.
life. And that's a flannel on my back, dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Gus is really getting into the idea of the merch, and so Gus is going to be rolling out some new merch soon. So check out our website, From the Depot.
Could we get some? If you made it this far, let's get some Comments about the merch. I'd like to see who wants some, who doesn't want some.
Google.
It's probably not a good merch plug to do at the end of a podcast. But
No, and people don't like to comment. And
no, they don't. Just comment L.
Just
Where
L.
do you
L.
comment at?
YouTube.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
a Spotify man.
On YouTube. A lot of
Yeah.
our people are Spotify people, but
Yeah.
there are we do have a good little fan base on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Most of our views are actually YouTube.
Nice.
And we got a lot of foot people, like people who are big into foot.
Defeat.
Oh yeah, people who are
Yeah.
big into feet. They were excited about our podcast because we had feet on it, kind of by accident a lot, and then we accidentally kind of called them out on it. And,
Called him out too soon.
So
we said we were gonna call him out at episode 100.
Yeah, and we're getting too many less views now, but that's fine. Also, I own FromTheDepot.com. I was checking to see. It
Oh, that's
doesn't.
perfect.
It doesn't go anywhere right now, but I own the domain, so nobody can
Good,
freaking
good.
take it from us. As soon as we set up the podcast, I bought that domain. FromTheDepot.com, and I own TMChase.com. And that forwards to something. What does that forward to?
And visit sosoutdoor.com.
Yeah, everybody go to visit sosoutdoor.com.
Submit your quote and I'll come out and
Go anywhere.
I'll do some good stuff with you.
Oh yeah, it'll touch you and stuff.
Or is that where it
Touch you and
went?
stuff.
Oh yeah, it'll touch you. That's where it goes. All right.
All right. Roger that.